Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of TTS Today. We've been getting several requests about adding new vendors to the total order entry system. So on today's episode, that is exactly what we're going to do. Add a new vendor. I'm going to go over all the different options and fields that are required and some of the ones that aren't required. And that is today's topic. We'll see you at the vendor create screen. Okay, let's create a vendor. So on the left menu tab, we're going to go into vendor. And you'll notice as the whole system is laid out, create manage is for vendor as well. So we want to create a new vendor. And if we need to edit it, we would use the manage screen. So create new. I'm just going to go over the different fields, let you know what's required, what's not required. Vendor name is required field, anything with a red asterisk. Main email address, postal code, order sequence. So some manufacturers require you to start at a certain order number sequence, 1,000, 10,000. This is where you would start that. Select vendor group. Not going to worry about vendor group. That's more for when we're doing sales analysis or quotations. So that field is not required. Address, of course, street address, fax number. Default shipper, we give you the ability to choose a shipper, so it's a drop-down list that will always show up for this particular vendor. If you leave it blank, then you just choose it. If you have a vendor selected in there, you can always override it when you're creating an order for that particular vendor. Rep code is something that is used for communication purposes, and if you need that information, we can find that out, but that would be provided by the manufacturer and usually is sent via EDI to them so they can identify you. Address line 2 if you require that, if they have a website. Remarks is just some information that'll show up on this screen about this particular vendor. Phone number. City state, again, this is a required field and it goes against the United States Postal Service database. So city and state do have to be in that system for you to save this particular vendor. Order prefix, this is going to be the 2 or 3 letter character or number code that precedes the order number. And that will show up in the manage screen. It's not required, but it does make it a little easier to track things down when you start searching for orders in the manage screen or in the search order screen. Select master vendor. This you're not going to have to worry about unless you're communicating with a manufacturer via XML, which is just another form of transmitting files. So this will most probably be blank for you at this point. So, but if we do require that, we will help you set that up. So now some of the options down at the bottom, always factory back order. If this particular vendor factory back orders everything, gets shipped from the factory, you check that. Warehousing, if it's a warehousing vendor, you would check that. Warehouse copy sort order. So what happens here is for the warehouse copy that comes out of your system in the PDF, you can choose how it's sorted, each product. So you have multiple lines. You can sort by default, be just how you entered it, or it could be by the product number. So no matter how you enter it, it will automatically sort by numerical product number. Bin location is another option for that. So if you want it sorted by any of these, you just choose the one you want and it will be sorted in that order. Manual products allowed. What this allows you to do is if the product is not warehoused by you or it's a new product and during order entry you want to allow the operator to be able to enter that order manually, you would check that. Unchecked, they will not be able to add the order. They'd have to go and create the order first and go back. Create the product first and then go back to create the order again. Buy sell is a feature that will be added in the future, so that is not really necessary at this point. Release copy sort order, the same as warehouse copy. Your release copy has the ability to sort chronologically by product number or by bin location. Order allowed without customer cross-reference. Does the manufacturer provide you with a cross-reference number, and will they allow you to create an order without that? That's what this checkbox is in. Default to manual pricing. If you have pricing set up in the system, you can change it to automatically add those prices. If you don't and you want to just save a step on clicking, you can always choose manual pricing versus a price that might be in the system. So this allows you to default to it. So it saves you a step from entering an order by allowing you to enter a manual price right from the beginning. Warn about partial quantity orders. So if you have a standard package quantity of 100 and you break that package up, order 50 items for instance, this will warn you if you wanted to by checking this box. So it will notify the operator that maybe you don't want to break up this box, or this manufacturer does not want you to break up this box. So that's an option that you can check. These last two are communicate via EDI, depending on how this manufacturer wants you to send them billing information. EDI would create an out file. In some cases, they want to just see the release only, so the release numbers, not the orders. And if that's the case, you check off that. Okay. Again, we can work with you on EDI. If you're sending these communications, most times you may just be creating a PDF, and that will automatically default if these are unchecked. Vendor contact information. Basically, this is going to act as a Rolodex. Remember that term? This will just give you basically the title, the name of a contact person, any information that you might want to have for them. So that is not required. And freight term. Freight term is important. A lot of people don't realize, but this is where you would actually create that information. Your prepaids, your CODs, your will calls, your pickups, things like that. That would be added in here. And these are required, so you would add a freight term, give a description of the freight term, and then this and freight bill too. So this is where your bill of lading information or address will go in. And this way, whenever you choose that particular freight term, it will show up on your shipper's copy or your bill of lading copy all the time. So very important to have that information in there. It will allow you to put an address or just some kind of text. So you decide what you need. And then you'll get a whole list of them. So just to show you, one that's already filled out, I'm going to go to one of the vendors that I use for my examples, Kodiak, and you'll see we have the name. In this instance, we have a email address. We do have a address in here, rep code for this particular one we chose as KO, phone number, city, state. But look at some of the options down here. Going down to here, we have your communicate using EDI. So this one is a communicate EDI vendor, releases only. And you'll notice this box here will actually tell you what's going on. It's communicating. It creates an outbound manual EDI file, and it actually has an inbound EDI file too. So depending on what options you're choosing here, you may see different information in here. What I really wanted to show you was your freight terms. So in this case, we have multiple freight terms. Prepaid, you have your send freight bill to, and if I click on the trash can, you can delete that particular freight term, or I can edit the freight term. So we could just go in here and make changes to this and then update it. Okay. And that is basically setting up a vendor. As long as you have all the correct information in there, you should be good. The last button, and a lot of people want to know, how do you delete a vendor? And I did a video on deleting customers, and I did talk about vendors as well. And all you would do is you would slide this over to yes, and once I hit update, this vendor will be out of any list on the system. So suspending will remove it from any option. No one will be able to place an order for that vendor. They can always get it back, but that is how you would delete a vendor as well. So that is the conclusion of this video. Again, any questions that you have that you want to be answered on TTS Today, please send us an email on askttstoday@tradetechsolutions.com. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.